Welcome to Confident at Work. I am your host and confidence coach, Anna Manning, and we are fast hurtling towards the end of 2023. And that means two things. One, how to grow your professional confidence. The free masterclass, which I teach every year, is back. And I'm hosting it in January 2024. So this is going to be how to grow your confidence in 2024. And you are warmly invited. So every listener to the podcast, I'm going to encourage you to click through to the show notes, click the link there and sign up either to come to the class live or to get the replay into your inbox, because that class, that 60 minutes, is going to give you the foundations and everything that you need to grow your confidence, grow your professional confidence in 2024. So come and join us. We've had loads of sign-ups already. So it should be a busy and fun class. And number two is it means the end of 2023 and us turning our attention towards 2024. And you might be one of those people that's like, well, I don't really set resolutions or don't really do goals or whatever. And I used to be a bit like that too. But whether you like to set goals and you like to set resolutions or you don't, I don't think we can avoid the fact that the end of a year and the beginning of a new one it's a natural inflection point, which leads us to kind of do a bit of a reassessment, to think about the year that we've had and the year that's coming. And in this episode, I'm going to walk you through a simple process that you can use to look at where you are and where you'd like to be and do a little bit of thinking and planning for 2024. So when I first started coaching back in 2018, I used to be like a general life coach and I would coach people on anything. And so every year, I think for about 3 or 4 years, maybe I did this, maybe 3 years, I would teach a class in January, which was like a year in review and a planning class for the new year. And as a general life coach, I would help people to think about the last year that they'd had. What was it like? How did it go? Celebrate things that had gone well, park things that hadn't, and then help them to turn their attention towards the next year and really help them think about where do I want to be and who do I want to be and how do I want things to be at the end of this year? And then what is it that I need to focus on? What is it I need to look at? Maybe what is it that I need to change or drop or pick up in order to have the kind of year that I would like to have? And I loved teaching that class. It was a really magical hour. And now that I am a confidence coach, I don't do that general life coaching anymore. I don't actually teach that class anymore, but I do miss it a bit. And maybe you guys don't have that opportunity to be guided and do that. And maybe you don't have your own way of reviewing the year and looking to the year ahead and setting your goals. And maybe you do this at work around appraisal time or maybe your financial end of year. But we're just going to spend a bit of time together today. And I'm going to help you to think about and reflect on where you are now and the year that you've had and what you want to look at and what you want to think about for 2024. So you might like to listen to this all the way through, or you might like to just grab your notepad or open your laptop and a document, put some music on, grab a cup of tea, have your mulled wine, whatever it is you want to do, and take a bit of time to reflect and just stop the podcast where I'm doing the episodes. That's not right. Where I'm doing the exercises and give yourself the time and do it along with me. Imagine this is that class where you get to review and look forward. So First, we're going to take a little look back over 2023. And I find that it's really helpful to actually open your diary when you do this, because it's so easy to forget what's happened and it's so easy to forget what you've done. The other nice thing you can do if you take photos on your phone is to just flick through and have a look. Oh, where did I go? What did we do? What did I take pictures of? What does it look like I enjoyed? And flick through your phone photos. So I'm going to encourage you to open your diary. If this is work, if we're doing a work review here or a whole of life, whatever, open your diary, open your phone photos, and just start scrolling through and have a look. What did you do this year? What did you enjoy this year? What big things happened this year? What are you proud of that you accomplished this year? Which relationships did you improve this year? What skill or strength did you develop this year? Where did you persevere when something was really tough this year? Or what have you come through or endured that was really, really hard? What would you like to celebrate for this year? And if you're doing this as an exercise, which I'm going to suggest that you do, maybe pause the podcast and just take a bit of time to think about that and write it down. And it's so important to do this because our brains will tend towards remembering the hard stuff and the bad stuff and the negative stuff. And yet that's how we're wired. But if you're going to be in a good headspace to look at where you are now and look forwards, you need to be noticing, first of all, what happened, what went well, what are you celebrating? Because that's going to put you in the best headspace you can be to look forward. So take a bit of time to think about that. Before you move on to where are you now? So I have an exercise which I take people through when I start working with them to really get clear on, and quite forensically, where are they now? And I do this in the context of work because I'm a confidence coach and I help people feel more confident at work. But if you want, you can extend this to the whole of your life. So I'm going to give you some different sort of headings and some prompts that I always go through with clients to help them think about work, but obviously feel free to extend this to rest of life if you want. And I use this tool called the Wheel of Work. You can Google actually, because there's loads of different ones, but I will give you the headings. And what we want to do here is answer the questions in terms of how content are you feeling right now? How are you feeling about this area that I'm going to ask you about? And in this class, I ask people to rate it, gut feeling out of 10. How happy or content are you feeling about this particular aspect of your work life at the moment? And once we'd looked through all of these headings and gathered all that information, we had a really clear picture of where someone is right now. And that's what I want for you, that before you think about looking forward and moving forward, you've got a nice clear picture of where you are now. And you might think, well, it's abundantly obvious where I am now. You know, I'm in my own life, Anna. I know how things are. But people always have pause for thought when they do this exercise, and it reveals stuff that in the day-to-day you probably aren't that aware of, or at least not that consciously aware of. So the first thing is, how content are you in relation to your current role and responsibilities out of 10? Gut feeling. And believe me, I'm going to be doing this exercise too. So out of 10, gut feeling, roles and responsibilities, your role and responsibilities, how are you feeling about that at the moment? And think through, what's my current role? What are my responsibilities? So, what are the requirements of my role? Who am I responsible for? What am I responsible for? And take a bit of time to just write some bullet points. Why did I give it that score? If you gave it a 5, if you gave it an 8, why? What is it that made it that score in terms of your role and responsibilities? And the next area is your working relationships. How content are you with your current working relationships? And that might be your coworkers, colleagues, peers. It might be your boss. It might be your team. It might be the department that you manage. It might be your exec board. All of those different working relationships that you're required to have in order to do what you do, in order to succeed. And even if you work on your own, you've got tons of working relationships, whether that's with clients, whether it's with providers. How content do you feel about the state of your working relationships out of 10? And then just jot some bullet points. Why did you give that score? What is it about your working relationships which are working? What is it about your working relationships which maybe aren't working? Which do you find tough? Which do you find easy? Where is it you might have neglected a working relationship, or where is it you've really developed one or some? The next area is around your career development. How do you feel about where you are right now in terms of your career development? And this is career to date. So, where you started, where you've been, where you've come to. Out of 10, how content are you in terms of your current career development? And maybe just take a little bit of time here to jot some bullet points on where have you been so far? What has it taken to get here? What promotions have you passed through? What different industries have you been in? Where and how have you worked that brings you to today? And are you content with your career development? Or is there some discontent? And if so, why? The next area that I'm going to encourage you to think about is purpose and meaning in relation to your work. And by this, I mean, what's important to you about work, about the work that you do, about the job that you have? What makes it worthwhile? What makes it feel meaningful to you? Is there work you do that you think, yeah, that's purposeful for me, that feels purposeful, that's adding something? What is it about your work that gets you going? If you've had a really good day and you feel connected to it, you feel purposeful, you feel it's got actual meaning and impact, what are you doing then? And is your work full of this, or is there not much for you at all, or somewhere in between? Give a score out of 10 for where you're at in relation to purpose and meaning in your work right now. And then jot down some bullet points as to why. The next area is reward and recognition. And this might be pay. This might be benefits. So different things than pay. And when you think of pay, think of it widely. Think of any benefits that you have access to, that you've been able to access. You know, is there a workplace pension that gets contributed to? Do you have a travel allowance? You know, do you get free lunches at work? Whatever that looks like. And go wider than just thinking about pay, thinking about wider recognition. And does that include an award that you won, or a paper that was published, or you being recognized as an industry leader, or even recognized as somebody within your organization who's the go-to person for this particular thing? How content are you with the current level of reward and recognition which you have within your work out of 10? And then jot some bullet points down as to why. Why did you give it that score? The next area that I'm going to encourage you to think about is culture and environment. So, if you work with other people within a business, an organization, a charity, a healthcare provider, whatever it is, how content are you at the moment with the current culture and the environment that you're working in? And that might be the kind of way things are done in your organization, the way things get done, the way people generally support one another or don't. Whether you're allowed to, take on extra work or responsibilities, or whether you have to and you don't want to. Whether you have to work every hour God sends and weekends, or whether you don't, whether you're encouraged to take breaks. All those different things about your organization's culture. Some of them you might really like, some of them you might not like. And think widely also about the environment that you work in. So many people have had, during COVID, changes in their working environment. And even post-COVID, more changes in their working environment. So whether that is home, whether it's in an office, whether it's in a school, whether it's in a hospital, whatever your physical working environment is like, extend this question to that too. So think about your culture and your environment, and how content are you with those at the moment out of 10? And jot down some ideas as to why. What's currently good? What's bad? What are you indifferent about? The last one that I'm going to encourage you to think about, because this is what I do, is your current confidence level. Out of 10, how confident are you feeling right now in relation to your work? And why? Whether that's a 2, a 5, a 7, I don't know, but why would you give it that score? Are there areas where you feel really confident and areas where you don't feel so confident? Are there areas where you're really happy about your involvement and your impact and your contribution, and others where you're thinking, I really need to get involved here, but I'm not? Are there places where you find yourself comparing yourself to other people? Are there places where you wish you had more feedback and you don't, and you're really unsure? Is there a lot of internal criticism or doubt? Is there anything that's currently getting in the way in terms of your confidence that you can spot? And if you are used to listening to this podcast, you should be, maybe you have a few ideas about things that might be impacting your confidence. And you might think some of that stuff is on the outside, in the world that you work in the environment that you work in. And you might think that some of that is on the inside, in terms of the environment that you're creating for yourself and the way you lead and manage yourself at work. So give it that a score out of 10, and then say, why? Why are you feeling that confident at work right now? And if you lead or manage other people, I'm going to encourage you to spend a little bit of time thinking about that too. How are you feeling about leading and managing other people right now? Content or not? So we've spent a bit of time looking back over 2023, and you've spent a bit of time thinking about where you are right now. Now we're going to move on to thinking about 2024. And I have a quick and really easy exercise that I want to share with you, which I do with my clients once we've finished working together, so that they can take a look over the year ahead and see where they want to go next with their newfound confidence and their newfound self belief. So, you need a pen and paper for this exercise, or you need to open an email and then delay send is probably a good idea. So, you can review this a year from now. But you want to start this as a letter to yourself from you a year from now. So the idea is that you imagine that it's the end of 2024 and you're writing to yourself from the future. But you phrase everything as if it's in the present tense. So, for example, my letter would start, Dear Anna, it's the 31st of December, 2024, and it's been an awesome year because ... And then I just free write anything that comes to mind as to why it's been an awesome year. And I'm going to do this exercise too. And once you've done this exercise, so dear you, it's 31st of December 2024, and it's been an awesome year, or a great year, or a brilliant year, however you would describe a great year, because ... And then say why. Include work, include home, include relationships, include wider life stuff, include anything you've achieved, include anything that you want to do. Why has it been an awesome year? And then take a few minutes to have a look at that. Some people would say it's enough to just do that, then fold it away and put it away and see what's come of it after a year. Now, this is completely up to you. Some people would take it a lot further than that, and they would break down from here goals, key areas, and things that they need to do in order to make sure that they create this year. There's so many different approaches that you can take. And if you're someone who likes to be really forensic, you can look at this and think, okay, so if this year were going to be the way that I've described it here, what would I need to do? What am I going to achieve? What areas am I going to focus on? And crucially, and this is the bit that people often forget, what kind of a person do I need to be? How or who do I need to be in order to make this stuff happen, in order to make this stuff a reality? And I'm going to use a confidence example because that's what I'm thinking and talking about most often. But let's say you've included in your year of 2024, get a promotion to X role. Great. So you know what you want to do, but I want you to think about who you need to be in order to do that. Who or how do you need to be? And this is a confidence example. So it may be that you say, well, actually, I'm going to need to be confident in order to go for it, in order to take the steps I need to do enough development to go for it when the time comes. I need to be confident in order to put myself forward. I need to be confident enough to do the interview and really talk about myself and, sell what I've done and like own my accomplishments. So as well as thinking about what you might do in 2024, I encourage you to think about who you're going to need to be in order to do those things. And if confidence is something that you're going to need to have in 2024 or develop in 2024, then stick with me. because we've got all sorts coming up over the next year that's going to help you. So, we've looked at 2023 and your review of 2023. We've thought about where you are right now. And then we've looked forward to 2024 and thought about what you want to do, but also who or how you need to be in order to do it. There is one resource that I would recommend if you're thinking, yeah, I'd really like to be a bit more forensic about goals this year and setting all those out for myself. Obviously, if you're a client of mine, I'm going to do that with you and I'm going to walk you through the whole thing. But if you're not, I recommend a book called Your Best Year Ever by Michael Hyatt. When I decided that I was going to set some goals and do some stuff differently a few years ago, I think it was 2019. And would I have said it was my best year ever? At the time, I think I would actually, yeah. And I did a lot of stuff that I thought that I wouldn't be able to do. And it was great. So if you're thinking, yeah, that would be good for me and I'd like to set some stuff out and really it's very evidence backed and very science backed in terms of the way that he walks you through it and helps you to set goals. It's very easy, it's very accessible, and I really like it. I always recommend it to people. So that's Michael Hyatt and it's called Your Best Year Ever. You can get it on your Kindle or just order it on Amazon and just go through it. But I know if you're listening to this podcast that there is something for you around feeling your best at work. There's something around feeling and being as confident as you want to be in order to do what you want to do, in order to develop where you want to develop, in order to be where you want to be by the end of 2024. And for some of you, that's going to be a bit of fine tuning and a little bit of boosting as far as your confidence is concerned to help you get to the next level, or to help you make a success of something. But for some of you, it's going to be a case of really working from the ground up and developing you a really strong base for your confidence to take forward into your career and into 2024, and to be honest, way beyond. And I have a new program which is launching in January called Confident at Work, and it is a training program for people who want to feel more confident at work. It is currently only £360, and for that you get all of the training content that you need to embed the habits and patterns which are going to help you to feel more confident at work. And also, as part of that program, you get my live support. So there's going to be two coaching and training calls per month, where I'm going to help you with your individual challenges, with your individual issues at work. And I'm going to walk alongside you all year as you do whatever it is you're trying to do, and as you succeed in whatever you're doing, or as you fail in whatever you're doing. I'm gonna be with you if you join the program, and I'm going to be walking alongside you, coaching you, encouraging you, supporting you. And I'm really looking forward to doing that in 2024, and also having that community element, because there'll be other people there to support you and to cheer you on and to encourage you, and other people who understand what it's like to not always feel at our best at work and not always feel at our most confident. So you will be encouraged and understood and coached and supported all the way through 2024. So whether you're doing big things or you're just trying to get your confidence off the floor, Confident at Work could be a lovely place for you. And the doors are actually open now, but the launch is officially on the 1st of January. So I'm looking forward to welcoming you. I'll leave a link in the show notes so you can click on and come and join us. If you like the podcast, you're going to love this program. And yeah, that's all I have for you. So thank you for being with me in 2023. I hope that some of the Yes You coaching stuff has been useful to you. That is what we live for. And Happy New Year. See you in 2024.